Hello students, we are studying IPsec, that is Internet Protocol Security. And previous video we have studied about introduction to IPsec and what are the different applications where we can use Internet Protocol Security and different benefits of using IPsec. Now in this video we'll be studying about the two different modes of Internet Protocol Security. So basically this IPsec operates in any one of these two modes. The two modes which are provided are transport mode and tunnel mode. So we'll be studying in detail what is transport mode and what is tunnel mode. So in case of transport mode, IPsec protects what is delivered from the transport layer to network layer. So in other words, we can say it like transport mode protect the network layer payload and the payload to be encapsulated in the network layer. So let us look at this figure where this is your transport layer payload which is coming from the transport layer. It may carry your TCP or UDP packet. And then when it is coming to the network layer and if your IPsec is working in the transport mode, then IPsec will add its IPsec header and IPsec trailer to it, and then it will become the IP payload. And then a network layer IP header would be added. So here in the transport mode, IPsec is basically providing the security to the network layer payload. So the transport mode does not protect the IP header here in this mode, and the transport mode does not protect the whole IP packet. It protects only the packet from the transport layer, and it means only IP layer payload is protected by IPsec. So in this mode, IPsec header are added to the information which is coming from the transport layer, and the IP header is added later on. So this transport mode is normally used when we need host to host or end-to-end protection of data. The sending host then uses the IPsec to authenticate and encrypt the payload which is delivered from the transport layer, and the receiving host uses IPsec to check the authentication and then decrypt the IP packet and deliver it to the transport layer. So this is how your transport mode of Internet Protocol Security is working. Here you have to remember that IPsec in transport mode, it does not protect IP header. It only protects the information which is coming from the transport layer. Then the another mode of IPsec is tunnel mode. In tunnel mode, IPsec protects the entire IP packet. So it takes the IP packet including the IP header, then applies the IPsec security method to the entire packet and then adds a new IP header. So see here the network layer payload, that is IP payload, is here. IP header is applied to it and then IPsec is applied. So here IPsec is providing the security to IP header and payload both. IP header and trailer is applied, IPsec header and trailer is applied to the entire packet of network layer. And then again a new IP header is applied. So it is providing the security to the network layer payload. So here the new IP header, as we'll see further, has the different information than the original IP header. As we have seen here, there are two IP headers. First IP header is attached before providing the IPsec security, and then there is a new IP header. Okay, so how this tunnel mode is working, that we'll see in the further slides. So tunnel mode is normally used between two routers, between a host and a router, or between a router and a host. So here you can see, in other words, we can say that a tunnel mode is used when either the sender or the receiver is not a host. The entire original packet is protected from the intrusion between the sender and the receiver, as if the whole packet goes through the imaginary tunnel. So here you have to remember that IPsec in tunnel mode protects the original IP header, whereas IPsec in the transport mode is protecting only the transport layer payload. So let us understand the comparison between the transport mode and the tunnel mode. So in transport mode, the IPsec layer comes between the transport layer and the network layer. And in the tunnel mode, the flow is from network layer to IPsec layer and then again back to the network layer. So in case of transport layer, here you have the IPsec layer after transport layer and before network layer. So it is providing transport layer security to transport layer payload. Whereas in the tunnel mode, IPsec layer is in after the network layer, and after providing this IPsec security, we are having a new network layer. Why we are calling it as new network layer? Because we are providing, we are adding a new IP header here again. So it is in between IP layer, we have a IPsec layer in the tunnel mode.